for them? Good. So meaning everything that you see around you, like someone says feel, you can see and feel, okay? You can see, feel. Feel means that you can feel it on your body through your senses, okay? Your nose, your eyes, your ears can sense all these things. So all these things form part of what? The environment. And even someone can even go to the extent of categorizing it into two groups, like we have the natural and then the artificial. So all these coming together to form what we have as environment. Good. And environment, we are also part of it, okay? The birds are part of it, the trees, the plant, the land, the air, okay? All these are part of our environment. It means that whatever that goes around comes around. So if we are part of it and we do something harm to it, it will come back to us, isn't it? It's just like throwing a ball against the wall. Will it go somewhere? It will come back to you. Yes, so that's how the way we interact with the environment, and the environment also interact with us. Okay. So I mentioned something like doing something bad in the environment. So there's a word we call pollution. Pollution. Who can tell me what pollution is all about? Pollution, maybe let me help a bit, but you've tried, the two of you. Anything that we introduce into the environment, which is toxic. When we say toxic, meaning it is harmful, not only to the humans, but to the animals, to the water bodies, and to everything around us. That is what we call pollution. When we introduce those things, they become harmful. Okay? There is a health issue, falling sick, death, okay, or deformity through mutations here and there. So this is what pollution is all about. Just like someone said, burning. When you burn, okay, let's say plastic, for instance, it releases some chemicals into the atmosphere. You inhale, I inhale, everyone inhales. These chemicals goes into our system and then they affect the normal functioning of our system. Then we become what? Disease. Disease is what we also term as disease. Okay, when you feel disease within your body, means that you are diseased. Okay, and these are the things that cause those things. Or you pour, let's say, a dirty oil on the soil, then it rains, then the water carries it to the river or to the sea. Okay, it pollutes the water. Okay, and it pollutes the soil. So organisms in those environments are affected. So the fishes will take these things, and at the end of the day, it will fall in your dining table, and then you eat, and you also what? Feel disease, then you become diseased, you fall sick. So that is simple, like way of let's say explaining what we mean by what pollution. Do you understand? Good. So we move on to the next thing. Plastics. Okay, plastic. You can see in front of us, we are carrying a whole lot of them. And I know you might have seen this thing before, or no one has. Do you have someone here who hasn't seen plastic before? A whole lot. Okay. And these things are good. Okay. They help us, we are carrying water. We can move all around with the water drinking, isn't it? You can prepare food, keep them in plastic bowls. You can have even plastic bags and a whole lot where you keep your clothing, and even our cars, we have plastics in them. Okay, this camera that he's holding, I'm holding, there are plastics. Okay, so we can't do away with plastics, but today they are becoming problems, especially the single-use plastics, the one that when you use it once, you can't use it again. Okay, like let's say you buy cocoa, the kosi, all of them are in plastics. At the end of the day, do you use them again? You throw them away. You can't use them again, and those ones are a whole lot. Okay, and then the sachet water. Okay, the sachet water, when you finish drinking, you throw them away. Okay, because you can't. Who has ever bought a sachet water and then reuse the rubber again? Nah, it's like it's unheard of, right? So you just throw them away, and then they become problem to us. Okay, so this is what we meant by what? The plastic pollution. Because these things, what happened? Plastic is what? It takes between 400 to 1,000 years before it can break down into tiny particles. Even when it breaks down into that tiny particles, it still doesn't disappear. It's still there. It's in the air. As we are sitting here now, there are micro particles in the air, but your eyes can't see, isn't it? Unless you use microscope or a very powerful and electronic microscope before you can see them and how they look like. So these things too are found in the water. In our water, like rivers, even the water table down there where we have the water that we suck out, and then we have the sea, the rivers, all these places, we have these plastic being washed down to this environment. And when these microplastics enter the environment or those water bodies, they enter the bodies of the fishes. The fish is always in the water, just as the human beings, we are always within the air atmosphere, isn't it? So when they take the water inside, though they have gills and all that, they kind of sieve the water, but those microplastic particles remain within their bodies. So when they serve you food, your mom cook food, or rice, and you eat this fish, because it has these microplastics, you end up eating what? Plastics. So that is how plastic journey in back to us, from us, then back to us. So they say, just like when I started, when you throw something against wall, let's say a ball, it will do what? It come back to you. So in our environment, whatever we do, since we don't live here and move to the moon or to a different planet, means that whatever harm we do here will still affect us. It won't affect someone. It is us. Okay? So it's good for us all to understand the harm that plastic causes, so that we, especially we students, we the young ones, as we are coming, I can see some of us will be environmental officers, health and safety officers, some of you ministers of natural resources and environment, some of you will go on becoming the United Nations Secretary Generals and all that, taking care of the planet Earth. This is where it starts. Please don't see yourself small, okay? Don't say because you are in this school, be dreaming high, you become one, okay? But first, you must begin now. What we are telling you about this plastic pollution, you should be mindful of it, so that you also find a way of protecting the environment against plastic pollution, okay? I won't talk much, but I'll point one or two things, then the rest my colleagues will also come and take over, so that we understand everything fully. Who knows the year that the very first plastic was produced? Any idea? So the very first plastic, okay, the reason why the plastic even was produced was that initially, those olden days, our people, let's say humans, were using things like, let's say, our daily items, we're getting them by the use of something like a tortoise shell. We all know tortoise, right? The shell, we're using it to produce certain things like bowls, spoons, and those things that we use in our everyday life. And then we can talk of the elephant ivory, okay, the tusk, those white things, okay, you can call them ivory, or the rhinoceros, the one on their nose, okay, rhinoceros. Who knows the rhinoceros? They are very tough mammals in our terrestrials. So they call it what? They in the Ghana. But we don't have it in Ghana here. It's in the East Africa. Yeah, Ghana, we have elephants. When you go to Mole National Park or Bia, you see elephant or Kakum. But rhinos are in the East Africa. You see, like on top of their nose, a horn. So they were using these materials to produce these things that we were using. Okay, and something like trees were being cut down to manufacture so many things. So they realized that by and by, if you are not careful, we will be killing all these animals, and then we'll be wiping out all trees on our planet. So we have to do what? Engineer, or let's say manufacture something that can replace those items, okay, so that we can use those materials instead of the natural environment, instead of the killing of the animals or cutting down the trees. So that was when one man called what do you call John Wesley. John Wesley was the first scientist who invented the plastic, okay, in the year 1869, okay. And so since then, a lot of people also came out with several different kinds of plastics into the world, and then we have used them up to this current stage. So that is the reason how plastic came into being, okay, and today we are having plastic. So they came to serve a good purpose, but today we are now, because we don't have the knowledge, it is becoming danger to our health. It's just like when you have knife and you don't know how to properly use knife, you can cut your yam, you can cut your tomatoes, you can cut your bread, but if you are not careful, you can cut yourself and you can cut someone. The same way to the plastic that we are having. You can see people throwing them around, but that doesn't mean that is all. It will go back and come back to who? To you, to us, in that way that I explained, okay? So we will teach you how we can handle the plastics so that it will not cause harm to the environment. Is it clear? Do you understand?